Shared Anxieties by Shaista Rahman. The doorbell rang at a stretch 2 or 3 times. Razia Begum concluded her prayers by saying salam and called to her daughter in a slightly angry tone. Saima, my daughter, open the gate. Someone has been ringing the bell for a long time, but don't open the gate before checking who it is first. Saima went running to the gate. When she came back, she had a plate of biryani in her hand. Its smell was enough to make one feel hungry. Saima said that the biryani had been sent by the neighboring Pathan family. Her mother smiled and said, our neighbors are very hospitable, and whenever they make a good meal, they send it to their neighbors. Then, Razia Begum folded the prayer mat and, after telling Saima to put the biryani in the kitchen, went towards the stairs to call the Masi who was sweeping the roof. Razia Begum reached the roof and called out to Masi Rubina, have you finished sweeping? Gathering the garbage, Masi Rubina said, yes, Addi, I have finished. Since Masi Rubina was a Sindhi, she called Razia Begum Addi instead of Baji. Razia Begum also liked the word Addi very much. When Masi Rubina returned home late in the evening, Razia Begum went into the kitchen and began to prepare supper. Razia Begum's small family consisted of 5 members. Her husband Ashfaq Sahib, son Asad, daughter Saima, Ashfaq Sahib's father Mushtaq Sahib and herself. Ashfaq Sahib returned home at about 7 at night. Today, he looked clearly worried. Upon seeing him worried, Razia Begum also became worried and asked him, what is the matter? Ashfaq Sahib replied, the whole city has been gripped by violence since the evening. All businesses have been closed. Razia Begum became more worried and said, but why is this violence taking place? There must be some reason. Ashfaq Sahib said, the same old fight among Punjabis, Muhajirs, Sindhis, Balochs, Pathans, all are fighting against one another. If a person of someone's group is killed, he kills the people of the other community in revenge. This is happening in the whole city. Razia Begum said, with great concern, Asad has not yet returned home from his coaching center, and she began to pray silently for the safe return of her son. While waiting for him, Razia Begum felt that each moment was as long as a century. Asad came back at about 8. Abba, there is news throughout the area that a Sindhi has been murdered, and Sindhis will attack our area tonight. On the one hand, Razia felt great relief on her son's safe return, but on the other hand, her worry was multiplied by this news. Asad's grandfather, unaware of this conversation, came out of his room wearing a white shalwar and kurta and cap to go to the mosque to say his prayers. Razia Begum said to him, you should not go to the mosque today. You can say your prayers at home. He asked why. Then he looked at everyone's worried faces. What has happened? He asked. Razia Begum said, Abba, the whole city is gripped by violence. Some people have forcibly had all businesses closed. There is pin drop silence on all the roads, streets, and mohallas. All the people are confined to their homes. That's why we don't want you to go to the mosque. No one knows when this violence will get worse. Her father-in-law sat down on the charpoy in the courtyard very grieved. Saima asked, Dada, why are you sad? These acts of violence have become a daily routine of the city. At this, her grandfather sighed deeply and said, yes, my child, it is matter of daily routine for you, but for us old people who have seen the early days of the city of Karachi, it is very painful. Then, their grandfather looked at Asad and Saima in turn and said, my children, you don't know that our Karachi was a heaven of peace. He who came here for livelihood never slept hungry. People did not lock the doors of their houses because no one stole anything from anyone's house. There was never pin drop silence in this city at midnight. We called it the City of Lights, a city where there was no darkness. even after the sun set. And people used to travel on the roads late at night in peace and calm. In this city, nobody faced any danger to his honor, soul, or property. Who knows whose evil eye has cast its influence upon this city, that the festivities of our Karachi have ceased. Razia Begum was surprised to see that even after the situation had been normalized, Masi Rubina did not come to their house to work. Concerned, she went to her neighbor Shakila's house because Masi Rubina worked there too. Razia Begum asked Shakila whether Masi Rubina had come to her house. At this, Shakila said angrily, "Why would she come? She is a Sindhi. These people have created the tumult in the city." When Razia Begum returned home with a heavy heart, she was surprised to see the scene in front of her. Masi Rubina was sweeping the courtyard. When she saw Razia Begum, she left the broom, stood up, and greeted Assalamu alaikum Addi. Razia Begum responded to her greeting and said, "Where have you been for 4 days?" Masi Rubina said, "Addi, there were riots throughout the city, and I haven't slept for 4 nights. There was a rumor in our Goth that Muhajirs could attack our area anytime, and they would kill all the Sindhis of the Goth. Addi, now tell me how I could leave my little children alone over there."